Today I'm out here in the rain on a 2025 Triumph Scrambler 400. I've never ridden this bike before, but after today's absolutely soaking first ride, I should have a much better idea of what this bike is all about. Stay tuned to see if I get totally soaked, and I'll give it a chase score at the end of the video. I'm Chase on two wheels, I'm wet as hell, and I hope that camera still works. Welcome to a first ride. Not too bad for a little single. You know what else is not bad? Listening to awesome music and talking shit with your buddies in your Cardo's. Discount link over there. Thank you, Cardo. Alright guys, that's what it looks like and that's what it sounds like. Now, before we get going on this fun little thing, we get to thank the funnest sponsor of all, and that is Quad Lock. If you guys have never heard of Quad Lock before, they are by far the best motorcycle phone mount just to get your phone mounted up here on your motorcycle. So the way they work is kind of in a modular form. So the way we have it set up on the Scrambler 400X here is just the handlebar clamp. You got a little spacer, rubber spacer in there to clamp down really good. That's going to go into this little articulating arm that you can rotate this little dial here. You can move it all around. I tend to like this thing because sometimes I want my phone here, and then in the middle of riding I'll decide I want it in a different place, and this lets me easily change that. So I'll just tighten that down there. That articulating arm is then going to go into a vibration damper, and what that does is stop the vibrations from the motorcycle to getting to your phone camera because it can mess them up. And then we have the lock at the top. You can see Quad Lock, and that goes with the phone case, the Quad Lock phone case. So all you do is get your phone on there, you rotate it sideways and then back, and it is locked on there. Unfortunately, I've tested these things in wrecks, and that's like the most jarring a phone mount is ever going to have to do, and they hold perfectly. And then of course, to get your phone off, you just hit the push button and rotate sideways to get it off. Guys, if you guys want a discount on the best phone mounts, they can mount to literally any motorcycle. I'll put a link in the description down below, and you guys got a coupon code so you can save some money and get yourself a phone mount. All right, with all that being said, guys, now we got the phone on there. Let's get this thing going. And yes, guys, my voice is still meh. I'm still sick, but you know what? That's not stopping me from coming out here and riding cool bikes for y'all. So if you could do me a favor, give me the medicine of a like on this video. That would make me feel better. And if we get enough likes, maybe Chase's voice will come back. Who knows? Alrighty. Getting on the Triumph Scrambler 400X here. So guys, I'm 5'10". I got a 32-inch inseam. And I've got flat feet on this bike, but only just. It is a slightly taller motorcycle, especially when you see the CC number. You're probably going to assume it's a shorter bike, but it's not. My legs are just slightly bent, but there's not a ton of weight to handle, so I'm easily able to control the motorcycle. If we get the key turned on here, we can talk through some of the modes real quick, because there's no power modes, but there are some modes to talk about that I think is actually really unique for this bike.
A few moments later.
So we'll get it cranked up here. Alrighty, so if we hit this info button, this little I button here, you'll see on the screen here down on the right, we can go over until we see TC control. That's traction control. If we click it, it's off-road. So off-road is, it turns the traction control off for the rear tire only. Now you can turn traction control off entirely, I believe. But here, I'll show you. See traction control off. So now if we click and hold again,
eventually
we'll click and hold, and then they'll say off-road. So I want off-road mode to be off because I want traction control. I'm going to be on city streets today. All right, TTC on. Cool, that's what we want. We want off-road off. Okay. Alrighty, guys. We are now with off-road mode off because we want road mode, and we are we have all traction control on, so we are good to go, and we are going to get this first ride started. Also, guys, just a little heads up in case YouTube does a bad job like it always does. We've got an email newsletter because YouTube just doesn't do a good job of letting you guys know when we publish videos. We send it out once a week, so if you guys want to join the On2 crew, we would love to have you there and get all the updates around the channel and stuff like that. So let's start this first ride and see how long my voice lasts. Guys, before we get too far into this first ride, I have to hit on a couple things. One, the weather in Georgia has been disgusting lately. It literally will say it's going to rain all week, then it doesn't say it's going to rain, and then it rains. So the camera car of this first ride is not going to match what you guys are seeing today. We seemingly have a good day today, but the day we shot the camera car, it looked like this. So if there is a discrepancy and the intro was a little weird, that is why. My people that live in Georgia, you know what's been going on here, so I don't even gotta tell you guys, but just want to give you guys a heads up in case there is some weirdness. Alrighty, guys, it's a first ride. Let's talk about the body position on the Scrambler 400X. So honestly, the whole body position is relatively comfortable. We've got this big cushy seat that I am really enjoying. It's big, it's got a lot of padding, and it's very comfortable. My lower half is pretty relaxed. My legs seem down and just slightly back a little bit, not aggressive at all. And then we've got these big handlebars. My arms are out wide, and my upper half is pretty upright, honestly. And overall, it's just a really comfortable body position. I don't know how it's going to be on the highway. I'll let you guys know when we get to that point, but for right now, this is very comfortable. For city cruising, this is like ideal. My feet have very easy access to the ground for stops and goes, and it, like I said, it's really comfortable. So I think for a city scenario specifically, you guys are going to really enjoy this bike. Now, this is typically where we would change modes, but we have no different power modes on this bike, so we will remain in where it is. I lost that sentence halfway through and I just couldn't pick it up. Also, if you guys are wondering why I'm randomly running a 360 camera and you're not seeing the footage, it's because too many close calls have happened recently and I just wish I was recording. So that is more like a little safety camera for me. It's not necessarily recording, it's on loop recording mode, so it only records if I hit the stop button. But just in case crazy stuff happens, I want to have a 360 camera, and that is literally the best camera to do that with. So guys, let's talk about what's powering the Scrambler 400. If you guys are familiar with Triumph, you'll be surprised because what's actually powering this thing is a 398cc single engine. We kind of know Triumph for triples, so it's kind of interesting to have a single from them. That engine is going to be good for a little over 39 horsepower and I think 27.5 something foot-pounds of torque. The total bike is going to come in right under 400 pounds at 395, and the bike's got, I believe, a 3.5 gallon gas tank. So a pretty nice little package here. I don't want to be behind that vehicle. I want to be over here. I'm just getting behind you. I don't know what you're doing. I'm trying to get behind you. The lady was just very not happy with me trying to get into her lane because I didn't want to be behind a truck that has random shit in the back of it. So guys, while the power numbers aren't crazy on this thing, it really benefits from being a single style engine. It's got a lot of punch down low, so it kind of makes up for that in the city at least. 39 horsepower is not a crazy amount, but I do feel like after riding it around town, I do feel like it's ample for doing this kind of stuff. I don't have any problem, don't really have a need for more power. I can just, check out the old Porsche, how nice. It's got plenty of power and pep to kind of like scoot you around town with no problem, and the weight is fantastic because one, it's easy to control, and two, that relaxed body position, very easy to get my feet on the ground. it's got so much power that the traction control is having to kick on, and we're in a perfect day today. So if you guys are curious how much pep a little 400 has, it's got ample in a city setting. Plenty to have fun, plenty to get around traffic, and with the handlebars, it makes the bike really easy to move around. So you combo that with the lightweight and that upright body position, which is naturally going to give me more control over the bike, and you have a really nice setup for a city bike. Very easily to get around the random obstacles you sometimes find yourself having to dodge in the city, and this thing's effortless to move around. I do notice one of the fun things about this bike is even when you're in a lower speed environment like a city where you're going to be in first at a red light, then you're going to progress through the gears, it's a very active riding experience. You're going to be shifting up and down, even going red light to red light. So I guess that's a pro or a con. If you're a lazy rider and you don't really like shifting a lot, this might not be the bike for you, because even in a city setting, you're shifting up and down. I often find myself in 6th gear, just kind of riding around the city, riding around town. But if you, is this guy going to just walk? He is sketched the hell out. I don't blame him. I wouldn't trust these cars either, man. Triumph did a really good job putting a single in this thing. It makes up so much. I guess a parallel twin would have worked too, but a single has so much punchy power, you almost feel like it's a bigger bike when you're low in the revs. God, such a tiny car. It's hilarious. I would never drive that. I've been rear-ended one time in a Jeep and saw what it did to the back of that Jeep. I would never. I'd rather ride a bike. But yeah, back to what I was talking about the engaged riding experience. I'm in 3rd gear and I just got through the red. That's what I'm talking about, guys. You are shifting constantly on this thing. So if you're new to riding, I think that's a good thing. It makes you involved and you don't get just kind of complacent and bored while you're riding around. But I could definitely see if you're an experienced rider, it might get like, my gosh, I'm shifting and shifting and shifting. So there you go. Find myself in 6th gear already and I'm just kind of cruising. So that's what I mean by an engaged riding experience. I don't really mind it. I think it, one of the nice things that does is when you're shifting constantly, it makes you engage. When you're not having to shift, you kind of just zone out sometimes. And that can get a little dangerous while you're riding a motorcycle if you're zoned out thinking about other stuff you got going on, but if you're shifting, you get to a higher rev and you're like, well, I want to keep going, you got to shift. So it just keeps you active in the riding experience. Let's go around some of these cars. Overall, guys, for a city bike, I've got no complaints. Wouldn't really change much. Kind of love this bike as compared to the Speed 400 because of the body position. I think this is an overall better package. Car behind me is going to stop on me, right? All right, cool. A little abrupt stop for people taking a left. So for me, I feel like the big challenge with this bike is going to be the highway. I have not ridden this bike on the highway yet, so it's got a lot working against it, right? There's no wind protection. There is no cruise control. There's a small amount of power relative to other bikes. And we're on a more relaxed body position, so that no wind protection is going to be even more of a big deal. So I don't know how the highway is going to be. I'm very curious. It's probably the thing I'm most curious about for this first ride for you guys. So let's see how this thing goes. God, it's like the bike is just not even here. I can just literally just do a and the bike will just throw it to the side. Now we get the red. All right, guys, after we get this green, we're going to find out how fast the 2025 Triumph Scrambler 400X will go from 40 miles an hour to 80 miles an hour. Is that woman actively cleaning her dash? Man, she's getting it, dude. She's making sure she has the cleanest interior of a car. Bro, that's some dedication to your car. Props for that. Alrighty. I believe in you, little Triumph. You've got this. I don't know what gearing this needs to be in. I feel like 3rd might be too low or too high. We're going to do 3rd just to see. All right, I'm scooting back just in case. All right, on your marks. Get set. Go. All right, that's 4th emergency lane. We're getting there. That's capped out in that gear. And 80 right there. Top of fifth, got us 80. What was the time on that? Took a little longer, no surprise. We kind of expected that out of a little 400. But it got there. That's all that matters. It's the little 400 that could. All right, guys, now that we're pegged out on the highway, let's talk about how the highway experience is on this thing. First off, surprisingly, the wind is really not as bad. I don't know if it's not a windy day today or what, but the wind starts to hit me at my chest, but the wind feels very like diffused, if that makes sense. It's not really strong, and we're going 75 miles an hour. It's only pushing me back a little bit. It's not really that much of a problem. I feel wind on my shoulders more than kind of anything, which is interesting. Now, as far as comfort wise, we're going 75 in 6th gear, going around 7,000 to 8,000 RPM, and I've got some shaking in my handlebars and shaking in my pegs, but if I'm gonna be honest, it's not nearly as bad as I thought it would be for a little single on the highway. I thought this thing would be shaking like hell, so that's pretty surprising. There's not an overwhelming amount of stability. The bike's not really getting pressed around by the wind, but it's not tracking incredibly well. It kind of just easily drifts back and forth a little bit. So I just have to be more active and make sure I'm, staying in control of the bike. Those bigger sport touring bikes, you can just put those things in cruise control and they'll just chill. This little guy's doing stuff like this, if that makes sense. Overall, this is not nearly as bad as I thought it would be. I've actually got a little power left to get me up past 80, coming into 90 now. So, it's definitely not lacking power enough to be worrisome on the highway. One of the things I will note with these mirrors all the way out, those vibrations get a little bigger farther out, so you can't really see the cars behind you because of the vibration. It's hard to see stuff clearly, so just keep that in mind. Yeah, it's not going to be the fastest thing, but you know what? For a low CC motorcycle, this is actually not bad at all. I am very happy with this. If you guys got this to commute, I would say I could do the highway for maybe 1.5 to 2 hours on this thing before I got over it. So if your commute's within that 1.5 to 2 hours on the highway, I think you guys could totally do this. And you'd save a ton of gas. The MPG on this thing is around 55 miles a gallon. So you're getting pretty good MPGs. So you could save a lot of gas if you were getting this bike to just commute on or something. Pretty surprised by that, honestly. Let's get her leaned over and see how she feels. A little soft on the suspension side, not really settling tight. But then again, it's a $5,800 motorcycle. What are you gonna expect suspension wise? This is also the Scrambler model, so it's made to kind of do all-purpose, kind of go a little bit of off-road, a little bit of city. So if I'm kind of okay with the suspension like that, because you got to find a middle ground of what would be nice off-road, and you surely don't want a hard suspension off-road. So I'm kind of okay with that. It felt fine. It didn't feel dangerous or anything like that. Are we going to jump the red light? Oh, the van's going to mess it up for us. We could have jumped the red light. Hopefully this van will have some pep in their step. All right, van, this is your moment. This is your time to shine. The minivan slow off the line, only fast enough for itself. Selfish, says the guy wanting him to go fast so they can get in front of everybody. All right, guys, so yeah, overall suspension kind of on the softer side. Power is ample for the highway. You're not going to be setting any land speed records, but I don't think you guys would expect that on a bike like this. All right, so guys, touching on the gearing of the bike, it is a little short. It's geared short. It is a single, so it doesn't really surprise me. But just know that you're going to be shifting this thing a lot up and down the gears. It's a pro or con based on the type of riding you like doing. As far as the actual shifter itself, it's relatively light. There's not a ton of feel down there, and I would like to have a little more feel from the shifter. It almost feels better if I clutchless shift this thing and I just blip the power. That way I kind of get a little more feel out of it, but I don't know if I could really expect that out of such a smaller engine. Sometimes you shift and it's like, wait, did I shift? But luckily you have a shift indicator on the dash that you guys have been looking at. The only other thing we need to really hit on, guys, is the brakes. So the Scrambler 400X is equipped with Vibri brakes, and if that's a company you've never heard of before, If I remember correctly, they're the Spanish version of Brembo. So you might not have heard of them before, but they actually perform pretty well. I'll show you guys here in a second. Scrub some speed off and we'll engage that front brake. Not too bad. Definitely not a Brembo. I don't want to get you guys confused with that. I do wish the braking had a little stronger initial bite to scrub some speed off. I find myself having to pull that front brake in a little too far from where I wish I had to engage the level of braking that I want. So that could be done with a different set of pads though. I'm not really sure. All right, so guys, let's talk about the controls and the dash. So guys, the controls on this bike are where I start to see, like, I don't want to call it non-Triumph, because Triumph, I look at Triumph as a premium brand. They are a premium brand, and normally their controls are really nice, but you got to cut costs somewhere on a motorcycle that costs under $6,000. And the controls, I feel like, is a spot where you can really see that they're trying to, you know, they're trying to find spaces to cut costs. I don't really have any problem with the controls per se. They just seem a little cost effective. You've got the info button over here, the blinker. There's an okay press to all the buttons. There's an okay feel to them, but it's nothing like super nice like you would expect on a lot of the higher end Triumphs. But that's not really a surprise, because those higher end Triumphs cost way over $10,000 and this is under $6,000. So that's kind of to be expected. I actually don't have a problem with the levers at all. They're adjustable on that one. So we've got the adjustable clutch lever, but the brake lever is not adjustable. So that kind of sucks. I'd get a new set of brake levers, or maybe a new set of levers that are adjustable to get the bike dialed into you a little better. And then we have the dash up front. We've got that old school needle for the speed. And then we have a digital dash for, you know, your information, turning your charge control and your ABS and your off-road mode and all that kind of stuff. For a cost-effective motorcycle, I think Triumph did a good job. I like the mix of the needle and the digital dash. And I do appreciate you get a gear position sensor. I really like that you get the gear indicator and you get a gas gauge on the digital side, on top of all the other little info stuff you can get there. I think if you're going to go this route, Triumph has done a really cool job to just make it fit really well with the motorcycle. If you look at the bike from the outside and you walk around and get on the bike, the dash makes total sense and fits the bike really well. So I think Triumph did a good job with that. Triumph tends to do a really good job with adding a physical needle when they need to and on the right model. So they've classically done a pretty good job with that in the past. And guys, I'm kind of shocked that my voice has lasted the entire first ride, so I'm pretty freaking stoked on that. So let's give my voice a break just for a second and let's check out the chase score on the 2025 Triumph Scrambler 400X.
All right, so guys, let's do the chase score for the 2025 Triumph Scrambler 400X. For throttle response, I'm going to give it a 5. It's respectable, but not thrilling and feels a bit tame off the line. For agility, I'm going to give this thing a 6. It handles decent for a Scrambler, but weight and geometry keep it from being sharp. For brakes, I'm going to give it a 5. It gets the job done, but lacks the bite and feel of a higher tier setup. For acceleration, I'm also going to give it a 5. It's adequate for city and light adventure, but nothing exciting in the mid-range. Next up, we have suspension. I'm going to give it a 5. It's comfortable enough for mixed use, but soft when pushed really hard. Next up, for comfort, I'm going to give it a 6. It's upright and relaxed, and it's good for long rides without much fatigue. For tech, I'm going to give it a 4. It's got basic features, but misses some modern amenities that you'd expect. For ease of use, I'm going to give it a 6. It's beginner friendly and forgiving, and it's just easy to live with day to day. For versatility, I'm also going to give it a 6. It's capable on both pavement and light trails, but limited if you go too much beyond that. And for fun for the money, again, we're going to give it a 6. It's solid value considering its price and approachable nature. That's going to give a ride score of 26, a usability score of a 28, for a total chase score of 54.
Alrighty guys, let me know in the comments if you agree or disagree with me in the chase score. So guys, overall, I'm kind of comparing mentally in my head this bike with the Triumph Speed 400, which is kind of the street version of this, and I'm trying to figure out which one I would rather go with. They have a lot of similarities, but I think overall, even if I didn't want to do light off-road, which this thing is capable of with the tire and everything, ground clearance and stuff like that, I think I would still choose the Scrambler 400X because I really do enjoy this body position, and while it's capable on the highway, I wouldn't necessarily buy this bike to go on the highway, but I'm having a really good time riding around town with it. That van is so close behind that truck. Holy shit. Like, were they not paying attention and like almost hit him or what? Goodness gracious. The only thing I wish I could upgrade on this bike would be the brakes and have them bite in a little more and be a little stronger. I think that's the main weak point of this motorcycle in general, but overall, I think this is a phenomenal option for the lower CC class of bikes. You get something that can do all purpose, like do a little bit of off-road, be a fantastic city bike. I think this thing's solid for that. But guys, that's all I've got for the Triumph Scrambler 400. Big shout out to Triumph for loaning us this bike to do a couple videos on, so we're going to have it for a little while. We've got a fun exhaust video, so if you guys want to check that out, make sure to subscribe to the channel. And if you guys can do me a favor, make sure to like this video and share it with somebody you think would love the Scrambler 400. I'm Chaseontwowheels. I appreciate you guys riding around with me today. Y'all go out there and ride safe, and I will see you on the next one. Later, guys.